We're delighted to have you join us for the finale of our latest episode of Tales from the Pennybloods. Surely our previous parts have left you with some questions, like how can we explain those mysterious disappearances? And what creature makes those blood-curdling howls? Stay tuned and learn all the secrets of the One-Handed Lady.
But where is William? He should be back by now.
But hours later, William has not returned. That night, everyone in the house goes into the woods in search of the lost boy. Everyone except Francesca, who remains in her oratory, performing her secret rituals. Henry and Roberto pass through the darkest parts of the forest, heading toward the distant waterfall where he knows his nephew likes to play. Suddenly, the terrifying roar of a wolf shatters the silence of the night.
Uncle! Uncle!
On the other side of the water, though, Henry beholds a truly horrifying sight. An enormous wolf. The beast seems larger than an ordinary wolf, more vicious and violent as it attempts to attack the young boy.
Please hurry. Help! Help!
Henry and Roberto stand their ground, defending William with their very lives. Then it happens. The figure of a young woman, surrounded by a hazy white mist, appears in the moonlit night and approaches the wolf.
Let the boy alone.
The wolf continues to growl, but then the ghostly woman raises her hand and threatens the beast.
Leave them, I say.
At first, it seems to have no effect on the wild animal, but after a moment, the wolf growls one last time, bounds off, and disappears into the forest. William races into his uncle's arms. Back at the castle, William excitedly tells everyone about his encounter with the wolf. His parents are horrified at his danger and relieved at his rescue. Francesca, however, remains strangely silent. The next few weeks prove uneventful, as William, now always accompanied by Henry and Roberto, wanders around the countryside. Then the time comes for Henry's relatives to depart. Henry settles into the routine of the Italian countryside, hiking with Roberto and completing work around the estate. Francesca behaves affectionately, but spends most nights in private devotions. Time passes slowly, since none of the neighboring families visit. In time, however, wonderful news. Francesca is expecting, and then, just as summer turns to autumn, the Marchesa gives birth to their son, Michael. Henry's heart overflows with happiness as his newborn son fills him with joy.
He's beautiful.
Do not be silly, Henry. Of course he is beautiful. He is a baby. All babies are beautiful, at least for a time.
That may be, but he's our baby, don't you see? He's our son.
The arrival of baby Michael proves a bright spot in Henry's life, but his wife's strange behavior still worries him. Her late hours and mysterious comings and goings. He dares not complain, of course. After all, Francesca has warned him how their lives together would be, so her activities come as no surprise. Still, he feels melancholy and alone. One day, while riding with Roberto, inspecting some outbuildings near the pasture, his servant becomes serious and confidential.
There is something I must tell you, signore.
What is it, Roberto? You look worried.
I am. For some time now, I have been following the Marchesa.
You what? What do you mean doing something like that? Who gave you permission?
I realize I have exceeded my authority, signore. But first, before you condemn me, please listen to what I have to say. She goes wandering at night.
Out at night? Oh, don't be absurd. Her health would never permit it. The chill would sicken her. And besides, there's the baby to care for.
Nevertheless, signore, she goes out. and I followed her into the woods. The woods where young Master William was lost, and saints be praised, was found.
If she does go, what does she do?
Of that I cannot say. No matter how carefully I follow, I always lose track of her. She eludes me and disappears into the underbrush.
That's fantastic. I don't know what to say. When I ask her about this...
I don't think you should mention this to the Marchesa just yet.
Not mention it?
No, not until we understand what she does, where she goes.
What do you make of it?
I know nothing for sure. I only urge you to be watchful. For yourself, and especially for the little one.
Roberto's observations stoke Henry's curiosity. When he first arrived at the castle and noticed his wife's mysterious habits, he gave them little thought. Minor eccentricities. Still, she does spend much time alone. Nights of secret vigils in her oratory. But after all, most married couples have private lives, though not always secrets. He felt little concern. After the encounter with the wolf, he listens more carefully when villagers and workers mutter about the castle and the Polioni family. One day, Roberto comes to him quite excited.
Signore, you know the old oratory in the tower? The chapel in which your wife secludes herself so often, where no man, not even her husband, dare accompany her.
Well, I know she enters the chapel alone, it's true.
That may be true. Though whether it's the chapel or not, who can say?
What do you mean?
That it may be something darker. When I was repairing the outside wall on the far side of the tower, I came across a hidden passageway.
A passageway?
Yes, and it leads into a secret room, from an entrance long sealed up. When I discovered it, with a little bit of stone removed, I could see clearly inside her oratory.
And what did you see?
To tell you the truth, signore, not very much. It was very dark. If we were to look when the Marchesa has lit the lamps, though, we might learn much about her practices.
What do you mean, practices?
The villagers say...
Oh, no more hocus pocus, Roberto. You know I'm not superstitious.
Superstitious, no. But there are many things beyond the ken of mortal men. Many things.
Nonsense. Still, I would like to know how she spends her time in there.
That night, Henry and Roberto wait until midnight, after the household goes to sleep. Then they make their way silently to the passageway and look inside. At first, they can see nothing in the darkness. Time drags on as the minutes feel like hours. Then, after a while...
Quiet, signore! She comes!
In a moment, Francesca lights the lantern and bathes the oratory in a mysterious glow. From their vantage point, the intruders can see the entire room. Hieroglyphic figures on the wall, rich oriental carpets on the floor, golden lamps adorned with precious gems that glow in the ghostly light. The Marchesa seems alone, it's true, but she carries a basket. The sound of a baby's cry lets the observers know its contents.
What's that? It can't be. It's little Michael.
Quiet, signore. We mustn't let them know we're here.
Henry and Roberto watch carefully as the Marchesa approaches a stone altar that stands in the center of the room. The altar, also covered with hieroglyphics, holds a series of candles, which Francesca lights one after the other, giving an unearthly luminescence to the room. Above the altar stands the statue of an enormous figure, half human, half serpent. The lanterns and candles illuminate the walls and ceilings, and the shadowy light reveals their occult markings and magical symbols.
What can she be doing?
Only time will tell, signore.
Francesca, Marchesa di Polioni, unveils her head, revealing her long, dark hair, ornamented with tiny jewels that glitter in the candlelight. She bows toward the statue above the altar and begins to recite.
O source of all my power and controller of my destiny, I have done as you asked. Here you see my beloved son, Michael, dear to my heart.
You have done well to obey me, Francesca, in bringing me the boy. You know what you must do now? Only his blood will satisfy the oath your father made to me long before you were born, an oath that you, since his death, must satisfy.
Oh, all-powerful, please, please, anything but that. I have already given you my hand as you demanded. Is that not enough?
At this, Francesca pulls up the sleeve of her left arm and reveals her gloved hand, holding it up into the candle's ghostly light. Slowly, slowly, she pulls the fingers and removes the glove.
But look! Her hand!
Wonders of wonders.
The glove falls from Francesca's fingers, revealing a horrible sight. No human hand at all, but an appendage covered with the skin of a snake, leathery and hard, unlike the skin of an ordinary snake. However, her hand glows iridescently with brilliant blues and greens, a sparkling red shimmer appearing now and again.
Heavens above! What can it mean?
It is as I feared, signore. She's a lamia.
A what?
Part woman, part serpent.
Francesca holds her snake-like hand in front of the statue of the serpent, as though making an offering to the deity. Then a voice arises from within the statue.
You have given of your flesh, it is true, as did your father before you were born. Still, he swore an oath to give me the firstborn of his line, and that child lies here before me.
No, please, anything but my dear baby.
It is too late for bargaining, my slave. Your father sold your son long ago when he sought to obtain power for himself and his children. And you have enjoyed the profit of those powers, your ability to change forms, to travel at will, to commune with the dead.
Yes, I have these powers, it is true, but I have paid a terrible price for them. The bloody cravings that come upon me with the full moon, the wolf-like creature that I become when I feast, and the innocent lives that I take. It is a torment to me.
Your father's gift.
Rather, my father's curse. I was no party to his dealings with the undead, and yet I pay the price.
This is as it must be. The sins of the father are passed down to the sons. Or the daughters.
No! Set me free. I would rather die than go on living like this.
Death cannot free you now. Nothing will complete the covenant except the blood of your infant son, which you must shed for me.
Take my blood instead. My life, unhappy as it is, must have some value to you.
None but your son will satisfy this covenant.
Francesca removes Michael from the basket and lays the squirming infant on the altar.
See how beautiful he is. How perfect.
His perfection is what completes the covenant.
You must spare him.
Must? I think not.
The serpent statue shudders and its eyes glow fiery red as the stone figure comes alive. Transformed into an enormous creature, half human, half snake, it moves toward Francesca and grabs the Marchesa by her misshapen hand.
You are mine, as are all your kin.
Serpent and dupe! Serpent and dupe! Well, no longer.
You will never escape me!
No! Ah! Let me go!
We must stop this.
Your refusal to obey dooms you to your fate. Follow your father to the grave!
No! No!
Let's try to get in.
Mortals! How dare you intrude!
What is this?
Francesca turns to see her husband and his manservant burst into the cavern through the secret corridor. As they do, demonic voices grow louder and louder, and the serpent deity becomes furious.
Mortals! You have no place here!
Francesca, we're coming.
Not me! The baby! Save the baby!
I will cast you down!
As the demon speaks, however, the oratory fills with a glowing mist, white as snow and perfect as diamonds. Inside the mist stands the figure of a young woman. She moves slowly, majestically, taking form until she stands before them all.
What is this? You, again?
The beautiful apparition moves slowly toward the altar and takes hold of the infant. The serpent deity roars.
That child is mine! It is written!
Away. Go hence, I say. Away.
It is the lady from the forest.
Lillian! Lillian!
He's mine! I tell you!
You no longer have dominion here.
The iridescent female figure holds the baby close, then moves toward Francesca, who stands before her. Michael's mother breaks down in tears and addresses the spectral woman.
My baby! My baby! It matters not what happens to me, but please save him. I beg you.
Suddenly, something fantastic happens. Francesca begins to shake and convulse in a spasm, falling into a trance. An otherworldly expression comes over her face as her eyes stare blankly at the serpent deity. She seems almost to be pondering some great question about the nature of good and evil, especially evil. And then it's over. As she comes to herself, she looks at her arm and then realizes...
Francesca! Look! Your hand!
Her hand! The iridescent skin of her snake-like hand has disappeared. In wonder, Francesca looks down at the pale skin of her long fingers. The Lamia spell is broken.
I'm free!
Here, your son.
The spectral woman hands the infant to his mother, and Francesca reaches out her arms to take Michael from Lillian's spirit.
Take him. Carefully.
There, my little one. Everything is going to be all right. Now.
Francesca kisses baby Michael on the forehead and turns to look again at the spectral lady from the forest. She bows her head majestically.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have broken the covenant!
Francesca clutches the baby to herself and hurries toward Henry. Her husband pulls his wife and son into his arms and embraces them both.
Let's get out of here.
Yes, hurry.
I shall have my revenge!
As the demon approaches, the lady from the forest confronts it, blocking its path as the others flee.
The child is mine, I tell you!
A child's innocence vanquishes all evil.
We've got to keep going.
Roberto leads the way, forcing open the ancient door to the tower's secret passageway. Behind him, Henry follows, pulling Francesca, who holds their son. As they run, they can hear the demon roaring in fury.
You will never escape me!
Once out of the tower's evil oratory, the four of them flee as quickly as possible, stopping only when they reach the garden. A moment later, a blast of lightning comes down out of the sky and strikes the awful tower.
What's happened?
Justice and destiny.
It's gone. It's over.
There, little one.
We're all safe now.
From that safe distance, they look back to see the ghostly figure floating away.
Lillian, don't leave me.
I'll never leave you, Henry.
That woman.
We have seen her before.
Yes, in what seems like another life. But who is she?
Someone from my past, who has just ensured the happiness of my future.
We hope you have enjoyed our latest episode of Tales from the Pennybloods, The One-Handed Lady. Summer Braley narrated, Carl Bengtsson played Henry, and Shannon Stevens was the demon. Jonathan Brandt played Roberto. Haley Carpenter was Lillian. Scott Davis played Charles. Camden Van Leeuwen played William. And Clive Marlowe was the stranger. Felina Van Leeuwen was Cecile, and Julia Warren played Francesca. Raymond Mankey and Eric Van Leeuwen provided additional voices. Raymond Mankey engineered and mixed the show, which was written and directed by Arnold Anthony Schmidt. Thanks as always to James Costello, General Manager of Modesto's KCBP FM radio, for his enthusiastic support. You can listen to this and other episodes of Tales from the Pennybloods on Apple Music, YouTube, and Spotify, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Pinterest, TikTok, and X. If you liked our show, please visit our website at talesfromthepennybloods.org and subscribe. We'll keep you up to date on our latest episodes and blogs.